Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs is looking even closer at the soaring prices of goods in the VI. The DLCA commissioner spoke before the Senate Committee on Government Services, Veterans, and Consumer Affairs on Wednesday and told them they're doing a study that could result in price control measures. News2's April Knight has details.
Local businesses could face some intervention from the government when it comes to pricing. That's according to DLCA Commissioner Devin Carrington at a Senate hearing on Wednesday.
I have concluded that availing ourselves of our statutory powers to enact price controls is the surest way consumers of this territory can be relieved of the burden of high-priced consumer commodities.
Price control measures are unpopular and can even be seen as the government meddling into the affairs of local businesses. But the case for that interference is bolstered by an observation by Commissioner Carrington that local consumers are not really feeling the effects of dropping oil prices nationally.
The responses by gas stations have generally not been encouraging.
While the price of gas has seen some decrease, especially on St. Croix, Commissioner Carrington says other commodities such as food items are also not reflecting what should have been lesser costs of transporting these goods to the Virgin Islands.
The fuel costs have come down. Certainly the transportation costs should have come down.
That's elementary.
But how come this elementary proposition isn't taking place?
Because we have unscrupulous individuals who refuse to pass on their savings to the consumer.
The fact that the price of wholesale gas is no longer published can also be detrimental to consumers, according to Carrington.
The public is not necessarily privy to what those costs are, so they can jack it up to whatever they want.
But Carrington says he wants a study done first before implementing any price control measures. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
According to testifiers, once the Lime Tree Storage Facility on St. Croix begins its operations, the public can again expect updates on wholesale gas prices. WAPA's interim CEO, Julio Reimer, shared some of their findings on Sunday on that blackout that left all of St. Thomas and St. John without power for at least 7 hours. According to Reimer, the cause was a fault in one of their feeders, feeder 7A, combined with human error. Reimer stated in a press release that one of their operators had attempted to restart feeder 7A on Sunday without checking to see if the fault was corrected first. WAPA is looking into disciplinary action, according to Reimer. Meanwhile, WAPA has scheduled an electrical service interruption for a small section of St. Thomas Feeder 6A on Friday, April 15th. Customers in East and West Carrot Bay, as well as Surgeon Free, will experience service interruption from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. while crews work on the Crown Mountain Road near the Estate Pearl entrance to safely replace a rotten pole on the main feeder and transfer all equipment to a new pole. While that work is in progress, motorists are advised to use extreme caution and to observe traffic directions in the area. The nationwide public safety broadband network will be up for discussion next week, Friday, April 22nd on St. Croix. So mark that on your calendar. The Bureau of Information Technology will be holding a town hall meeting where residents can discuss a document called the Draft Programmatic Impacts of this network. The public safety broadband network is meant to enhance the ability of the public safety community to perform more reliably, effectively, and safely. It will also increase situational awareness during an emergency, as well as improve the ability of first responders to effectively engage in those critical activities. The town hall will be held at the Company House Hotel, number 2 Company Street, Christiansted, from 5 to 8 p.m. The consensus is in among top health officials worldwide. The Zika outbreak is scarier than they first thought. One of the recent discoveries of the Centers for Disease Control is that Zika does indeed cause various congenital defects. In the Virgin Islands, a pregnant woman diagnosed with Zika gave birth to a healthy baby. The VIA Health Department spoke to News 2 about what that means. News 2's April Knight has details.
Since the beginning of the Zika outbreak, the virus has been linked with the dreaded birth defect microcephaly, but health officials couldn't be sure. Now they are. On Wednesday, the CDC confirmed that the Zika virus does cause microcephaly and other birth defects. CDC Director Tom Frieden called the news a turning point in the Zika outbreak. Now health officials fear that lab tests and vaccine research may not be able to catch up to the spread of the mosquito-borne virus.
We think there could be hundreds of thousands of cases of Zika virus in Puerto Rico and perhaps hundreds of affected babies.
In the Virgin Islands, the health department reported its first case of Zika in a pregnant woman. She was 34 weeks when she tested positive. She gave birth to a healthy baby, according to health officials.
A percentage of people that get infected with Zika actually have a small percentage, actually have an outcome of microcephaly. And the most recent paper that was published with their sample size, they showed the rate was 1 in 100. So it was a 1% chance that if you got infected with Zika during pregnancy, you would have a baby with microcephaly.
But since researchers are still learning new things about Zika, both mother and infant will continue to be monitored over the next several weeks.
With Zika virus, sometimes you can have a birth outcome that appears normal, but there may be other ways that the brain could have been affected, but it's not visually apparent.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The health department urges pregnant women to contact them for free inspections of their homes. A team can look for mosquito breeding grounds and eliminate them for you. Call the Emergency Operations Center. That number is 712-6205. Turn our attention overseas. The White House has issued a formal protest over several Russian flyovers in the Baltic Sea. Officials say the incident appears to be a violation of an agreement that goes back decades. But were the aerial maneuvers truly dangerous? The Kremlin has a much different view of things. Scott McLean reports.
He is on the deck.
If an American warship were under attack, this is what it would look like, according to the U.S. Unarmed Russian jets buzzing a U.S. Navy destroyer in the Baltic Sea this week, at one point coming within 30 feet of the ship. Too aggressive and far too close, say U.S. officials. But Russia is defending the move. A Kremlin defense spokesman told state media the flypast was part of a pre-scheduled training flight and that the jets avoided the ship safely and within the law, even saying he does not understand the reason for such a painful reaction of our American colleagues. The White House was not impressed, saying it's a violation of an agreement that goes back to the Cold War.
Obviously, the incident is inconsistent with the professional norms of militaries that are operating in proximity to each other in international waters and airspace.
It's not the first time Russia has gotten too close. And in recent weeks, the U.S. has sent more military resources to Europe to deter possible Russian intervention. During an annual public Q&A session in Russia, Vladimir Putin made no mention of the Baltic incident. He did describe the Panama Papers leak as a U.S. plot to destabilize Russia, but in another moment praised President Obama for admitting mistakes in Libya.
This affirms that the acting president of the United States is a good man.
The White House says it is formally protesting the incident directly with Russia through military channels in Moscow. In Washington, I'm Scott McLean.
And keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Taking a look at the numbers there, we can see the Dow up 18 and NASDAQ down, S&P 500 up. Coming up on News 2, the Department of Education's Division of Special Education held a youth summit at the Frenchman's Reef Hotel on Thursday. And the event was geared toward helping young people receiving special education services prepare for the future. It's coming up. Welcome back. As promised, time for our tax tips. The clock is ticking for those who have not yet filed your income tax returns. Bureau of Internal Revenue's Director Marvin Pickering recently advised the public that the tax deadline has been extended by 1 business day. It's the 18th of April, not the 15th. Still, Pickering advises people to take advantage of the extended filing dates. Unlike residents of some states, bona fide Virgin Islands residents, he said, have no other option but to come to the offices to file your taxes.
All bona fide residents of the Virgin Islands are required to file their income tax return here in the Virgin Islands. We don't have electronic filing in the Virgin Islands. Your taxpayers that work and live in the Virgin Islands must legally file their income tax returns in the Virgin Islands with the Bureau of Internal Revenue and not file online with Internal Revenue Service. It is a violation of the law to do so.
And be sure to stay tuned for some more tax tips on Friday. The Department of Education's Division of Special Education held a youth summit at the Frenchman's Reef Hotel today. That event was geared toward helping young people receiving special education services prepare for the future.
I am the man. I am the man. I am in charge. I am in charge. I am the boss. I am the boss.
Making a positive difference. Part of the theme of the Department of Education's 2016 Youth Summit.
We try to kind of, get things that the students are interested in, that they're dealing with in their daily lives. We call it like rip from the headlines. When you watch these television shows, CSI, NCIS, that type of thing, they kind of get topics that are ripped from the headlines. But we try to do the same thing with the Youth Summit. So for this year, we looked at, making good financial decisions.
The event is geared toward helping young people receiving special education services prepare for the future.
So for this year, we looked at, making good financial decisions. That was Banco Popular assisted us with that. We had the Department of Homeland Security and Office of the U.S. Attorneys come in to address with the students the impact of social media on their lives and their decision making today, and the consequences that can lead to that they can experience from not making the best decisions that they could with regards to themselves and their bodies.
Education Commissioner Sharon Ann McCollum addressed the gathering, and guest speakers provided words of wisdom.
I am the boss. I am the head. I am the head. I am the man. I am the man.
You have to emerge and show me that you are ready to accept the challenge. Come on now. And take it to the next level.
We do have one day that's catered to parents, parents of persons with special needs, whether they have IEPs or they have 504 plans. That is on Friday. We're asking our parents to come out and be a part of that day. It starts with registration from 8 a.m. through to 8:45, and then we jump into the program. And join us because we have specialists and everything catered especially for you.
Now for that presentation, shuttle services will be available from Havenside in front of Deli Deck from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and after the event. Again, that's on Friday. The St. Croix Chamber of Commerce is pleased to offer a 4-year scholarship to a St. Croix High School senior. The amount of the scholarship, a maximum of $4,000, payable up to $1,000 per year for tuition only. Applications are available from St. Croix High School counselors or from the Chamber's website. Applications must be received on or before April 30th. Mail applications directly to the St. Croix Chamber of Commerce, or you can call them for more information. The number is 340-718-1435 for more details. The Department of Labor, meanwhile, has begun accepting summer youth employment applications for the 2016 Summer Youth Work Experience and Training Program. The in and out of school youth age, 14 to 25 years, are invited to register for the approximately 720 available slots. Applications are available from the Department of Labor. They can be submitted electronically through the department's website, and they can also be picked up at any of the Department of Labor's offices locations on St. Croix and St. Thomas. St. John residents may pick up registration forms at the St. John Administrator's Office. You can contact Shanika Sebastian on St. Thomas at 340-776-3700, extension 2080, or Kendra Young on St. Croix at 773 1994, extension 2145. The Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands also announces the availability of the 2016 Interlochen Arts Academy scholarships. The scholarships of up to $2,500 per student. They are funded through the generosity of the Pryor Family Foundation. Public and private school students are invited to apply. Students who have been accepted to attend the prestigious arts program at the Interlochen Arts Academy and who demonstrate financial need are eligible. Selection will be based on students' overall financial need, academic progress, extracurricular activities, and answers to essay questions. Applications should be submitted to CFVI no later than May 13th, 2016. Senator Kenneth Gittens applauds all involved as a number of activities are underway for the Week of the Young Child. The week kicked off on Sunday and runs through Friday, April 15th. Culminating events, as you see right there, take place on St. Thomas and St. Croix on Friday.
Parents, siblings, and other family members at home, along with child care providers, educators, and healthcare providers have all roles to play in ensuring their physical and social growth. So I want to thank them and encourage them to continue as we charge our students to keep striving to be the best that they can be.
Meanwhile, nursery, pre-kindergarten, and kindergarten students there are celebrating the week at Good Hope Country Day School St. Croix. And here they are learning about the camera and how a microphone works, a little bit of technology. Now, every day there has been a different theme. Monday, it was Island Day. Tuesday, a day at school, picture day. Wednesday, Ms. Benderson, author of children's books, read stories and talked about being a writer. Armstrong Ice Cream, locally made Armstrong Ice Cream, will be a treat for the children on Thursday with a visit from the ice cream truck. Friday, they will celebrate families and their culture with a luncheon. Parents will share dishes representative of their family's culture. Good job to all the students there. Be sure to stick around. Your NEWS2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.